Get Out released in 2017, most people saw it as something pretty simple, a clever horror movie with social commentary. It was tense, funny, and unpredictable. People loved the twists, the memes, and especially the idea of the sunken place. But looking back now, it's clear that Get Out wasn't just a great horror film. It quietly changed the direction of modern filmmaking, and in ways that we probably didn't fully understand at the time. Director Jordan Peele didn't just make a horror movie about racism, he used horror as a delivery system. For years, serious discussions about race in mainstream movies often came in the form of heavy historical dramas, films about slavery, civil rights, or segregation. Those films were important, but they were often framed as stories about the past. Get Out did something different. It made racism present, subtle, polite, smiling. The film's villains aren't shouting slurs or acting violently in public. They're educated, progressive, and outwardly friendly. But that's exactly the point. The horror in Get Out comes from the idea that racism doesn't always look like hatred. Sometimes it looks like admiration. One of the most powerful concepts in the film is the sunken place. When the main character Chris is hypnotized, his consciousness sinks into darkness, while someone else takes control of his body. At first, it just seems like a creepy visual, but symbolically, it's much deeper. The sunken place represents powerlessness. Chris can see everything happening, but he can't control anything. His voice doesn't matter. His body isn't his anymore. It's a metaphor for what it feels like when society silences people while still benefiting from their identity, culture, or physical traits. And that idea hit audiences harder than most horror movies ever do. One of the film's most uncomfortable scenes is the garden party. Guests approach Chris and say things like, "Black is in fashion. Is it true? Is it better?" They talk about black people the way someone might talk about a product. And that's the core theme of the film. The villains don't hate black people. They want to become them. They admire physical traits, athletic ability, perceived strength, and cultural identity, but they still want to remain in control. Get Out exposes how fetishization can be just another form of dehumanization. Beyond the story itself, Get Out had a massive impact on the industry. The film cost only about $4.5 million to make and went on to earn over $250 million worldwide. That success proved something Hollywood had underestimated for years. Audiences were hungry for original stories with strong cultural perspectives, and helped launch a wave of bold, socially aware horror films. Movies like Us, Candyman, and even films outside horror began blending genre storytelling with deeper social commentary. It also proved that directors with unique voices could succeed without relying on sequels, remakes, or franchises. Originally, Get Out was supposed to end very differently. Chris was going to be arrested after escaping the house, meaning that even after surviving everything, the system would still trap him. But Peele changed the ending. Instead, Chris is rescued by his friend Rod. It's a rare moment of relief in a film that constantly builds tension, and that ending matters because it gave audiences something they rarely get in stories like this: justice. Looking back now, Get Out feels less like a horror movie and more like a cultural moment. It showed that horror could be smart, political, and still massively entertaining. It proved that audiences were ready for films that challenged them, and it reminded us that sometimes the scariest monsters aren't ghosts or demons, they're systems, they're assumptions, and sometimes they're smiling right at you.